huge set of buildings that are linked with underground tunnels. And they're going to have to clear all of that to make sure it's actually secure for members of Congress to come back and certify or debate the certification of the Electoral College votes.
Right. Meantime, what happens to the president after this? There are calls for him to resign. I mean, is there any mechanism in the U.S. government, whether it's Mitch McConnell or I don't know how the process works, to remove him from office, or is that even a possibility?
The only way to remove a president is via impeachment.
Via impeachment. What about, because this has unfolded the way it has, there's talk as well, and Keisha, I'll ask you this, that Trump himself might resign, appoint Mike Pence as a president for the last few weeks in order to pardon himself and perhaps family members.
Anything is possible at this point underneath the Trump administration. We also have to think about Trump's motivation. And I forgot who said it earlier, but it triggered a thought about Trump's ego and his own personal feelings. Remember, he's under indictment in New York State and the city of New York. So as soon as he loses protection of being president of the United States, he can be charged and indicted for state and local charges. So he may not actually want.
Yeah, so there's this bullshit going on in the States. I don't really know much about what's going on, but I figured we'd just put on some global news. We'll talk about it.
At the state and local level.
And let me know, you guys don't mind how the audio sounds and everything. I didn't test anything. We're gonna turn the global news down a little bit. Yeah, so I guess if you don't know what's going on, there's clearly some panic going on in the States, and I thought it was really interesting. I literally just relaxing after work, and I figured we'd sit down, we could just shoot the shit for a few minutes and talk about it. But man, there's absolutely some craziness going on in the States right now. It's absolutely insane, man. Hold on here, just gonna fucking mute this. There we go. Get out of here. Yeah, no, dude, it's fucking crazy. I don't even know what the hell's happening. Like, it's just, I was just at work all day, just doing my own thing, came home, and it was just like, the States were up in an uproar, and it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. I don't know, I was thinking about just leaving this shit, too, like, just leave the stream, don't even talk, just, like, let the coverage play, see if anything happens. But, yeah, I don't know. So they've, like, stormed the Capitol. Like, I think they're inside, as far as I was aware, of what I was able to find out here. But, man, it's crazy. There's, like, thousands of people, like, all over. Like, look at them all, man. There's a little bit of order going on now. This is a little better than what it was. There was a video, like, half an hour ago. They were, like, climbing up. They were in the building, like, climbing all around. Like, holy fuck, man. Look at these police officers, too, man. They're, like, that's decked out gear. Jesus Christ, man. They ain't messing around. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, though, man. Like, when you get so many people together, like, you can do a lot. Like, Trump made a video, and it's funny that the global news here, CTV News, they were all about that. They really were ripping into his Twitter video pretty hard. Poor guy. But, I don't know, man. It's pretty fucked up. Well, this is what shows what happens, I guess, my God, is that guy wearing like a fucking baseball helmet? He is too. That's sick. That's a good idea. Man, that's awesome. Yeah, look at him. Nice. He just gave the nod and everything. Yeah, no, crazy times, man. It's that's pretty insane if you ask me. Like, I didn't even know this stuff was going on until like literally like half an hour ago. But there's talk about that they were surrounding like other capitals in other states. Like, this is not like gonna be, like, might not be isolated to this one state. Like in Washington, they're looking at going, like, supposedly, like, other states are, like, rallying up. Like, they're seeing this happening. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, I don't know if anything like this has really happened before. Like, this specifically, like, this is nuts. And, like, poor Joe Biden, man, he sounds like he really didn't want anything to do with it. Like, he was kind of taking it easy, You guys have any thoughts on it, by the way? Feel free to just throw a comment out, by the way, I'll gladly talk to you about it. But, yeah, man. Oh, shit. Okay, here we go. So I got it muted right now. That first picture was interesting. They got, like, I don't think I can go back. Yeah, I can't go back. They clearly had some police in there. Yeah, see, they were in the building. Look at this guy. That's awesome. Oh man, what is that? Jesus Christ. Oh my lord, look how many people are there. Dude, yeah, it's like apparently they were like evacuating and everything. Like that's insane. It's kind of funny that the guy was like in the big chair. Look at this guy. Oh man, that's funny. It's kind of it's not like it's not a funny thing, but like it's funny that like Buddy was like taking the picture and like smiling and waving. I think that's pretty comical. What a Chad, dude. What an absolute legend. Man, that guy's funny. Yeah, man. So I don't know, man. It's the crazy times. Crazy times we're living in. Like COVID-19, nobody wants to deal with that bullshit. You know, now you got this. So I don't even really know exactly what's going down, except that obviously like they were kind of confirming Joe Biden's win, and like obviously people are pissed. Trump's supposed to be done as of the 20th of January. So, like, really not that long from now, like 14 days, like literally 2 weeks. And you can see, man, like, I wouldn't say it's necessarily at a standstill, but, like, I mean, I think we're going to see some shit go down. Like, I don't think it's over. Look at this guy in the front. Like, he's just, like, yelling away and having a good time. Let's unmute this shit. I want to hear it. Oh, they're not, obviously they're not going to, yeah, they're not going to play it. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll let the audio go here. I have no idea how it fucking sounds, but I'm hoping you just hear me mainly. Look at the guy in the front with the camera too. Like the police are just waiting. You know they are too. They're just waiting. Man, oof. Oh my God, look at him. He's got the shit on his helmet, eh? What is that? Isn't that like the night vision like they always use in the movies? They pull it. That's awesome. Yeah, man, there's gonna be a problem pretty soon because they were talking on the news here that there was like a curfew was coming into effect at 6 p.m. So and they're like they got nowhere to go. So either this just disintegrates at 6 p.m. So 8 minutes from now, or like shit really hits the fan, like it gets intense. It's gonna be scary, man.
Last night with the Georgia election results and those tremendous losses in a state that should have been easy for Republicans to win. And you already saw that starting to tear the party apart. Today, we expected even more of that with just the pageantry and the stunts that were going to be pulled by Senator Ted Cruz and others. But now, where this has taken it with this violence and this turn, we really have as a party, I think, 24 hours, if not less, to come out and collectively condemn this 100% with not a single naysayer in the party save the president himself. And if that doesn't happen, it might be a long time before my party's in power.
Do you think that Donald Trump will go on to create his own political party and take a run at the presidency again in 2024? And that's why so many Republican senators and congressmen are afraid of him.
Well, it's exceedingly difficult, if not almost impossible, to get on the ballot to be president if you're not in one of the two major parties. The hurdles in states, it's just almost insurmountable.
Dude, I'm waiting for this guy at the flag to get bopped.
Make it happen, it
like,
would be somebody with the money that Donald Trump
the guy in the front there, man, he's going down, dude.
I highly doubt that that's a viable option. What the Republican Party needs to do rather quickly after he's out of office.
Oh shit. There's a few people walking away, man. They might just be like, they might have been a news crew though. He had a big camera. I'm not saying I want to see some shit go down, but like it was getting in fucking intense, man.
Do you want to comment on that?
I think it's like slightly calmed down now, but there's people are still staying, like they ain't leaving, you know. And it's gonna get hot in 6 minutes.
I mean, even if you think about the two Georgia Senate elections, even though the two Democrats won, nevertheless, I mean, they won by relatively small margins. And at first, in early voting, the Democrats outperformed Republicans. But then on Election Day, after President Trump went and campaigned with Kelly Loeffler, and when he spoke on behalf of David Perdue, it motivated a lot of people who were Republicans who were kind of alienated, who at first had not intended to vote, to turn out on Election Day. And that's why the results were as close as they were. So, I mean, if by chance anything happens such that he's banned from running as a Republican again, that is probably going to cause even more division within the Republican Party, because President Trump remains extremely popular. And there's a segment of Americans who really believe that regardless of what he does, he can do no wrong. They really admire him a lot. And so I think that something like that will probably do more harm than good.
Corey Crowley, I know we have to let you go. Thank you so much for your time and your insight. I do appreciate it. Keisha Middlemass, I'll go to you again, Associate Professor of Political Science at Howard University. As Americans watch what is unfolding at their capital, I know that the common theme is 74 million people voted for Donald Trump, but clearly and surely not all of them support what they're seeing unfold this afternoon.
Yes. So you've got to think about the Republican Party in 2 or 3 different sections. There's those.
Dude, I love when these people in like CTV are talking about like, you know, well, the concern is on the Republican. It's all the same, right? Yeah, and they're really like, it's funny, they get all these like random speakers on. Like, I've been listening to these random people I don't even know. Like, I'm a nobody too. But, like, they're getting on these, like, random people that are, like, supposed to be, like, whatever. And they all are just saying the same thing. Everybody's just, like, you know, making the exact same comments over and over again. It's like, mate, like, just look at this. Like, it's fucked. Like, there's nobody understands that, man. Like, I don't know what's going on. I'm honestly, I'm just waiting for shit to go down. That's really what I'm watching for. And if you're watching, I think that's what you're watching for. I just want to this is something, but I want to see I want to see some shit, man. Like in the movies, like look at that guy right there at the cowboy hat. All he has to do is get a little closer, you know, and then he's just like, that's all it's gonna take too. As soon as someone gets fucking bopped in the face, like just one haymaker comes out, it's over, man. This thing is gonna it's gonna go crazy. You know, you'll see it here first. Like it's insane. I don't know, I could show some pictures and shit too, but like it was fucking crazy, man. There's more people in the back, see, like they're all there. It's just not everybody's like right at the steps, but there's a lot of people. But man, there was a crazy amount. Like they stormed in there, man. There was thousands, like. And the problem is just Trump's into like the 20th, right? So like people are just gonna keep doing this. I probably till the 20th, I would imagine. You know, if not past, like I don't know, man. All right, let's get some more audio. We'll hear him out.
In their constituency, so I guess who knows if he's going to run or not, but he would probably have a good chance of running. But I think what they need to do is get someone who can have a broader appeal, who is a more moderate Republican, who can not only get support from the conservative Republicans, but can also get some support from other Republicans as well, who are more moderate in their ideology, because that is something that the Republican Party, the Georgia Senate elections prove that they're going to have to change their image, and they're going to have more outreach to people of color, to younger people, and they need to have a candidate that has that kind of broad appeal. The question is, who is that person? So it could be a case in which someone might be someone that we may not even have heard of very much about today, but might just come and run for office in 2024 in the same way that with President Obama, when he ran in 2008, a lot of people had never really heard of him. He hadn't really been in politics for a very long period of time. It might be a case in which they might find some young, relatively progressive Republican candidate who's kind of politically inexperienced, who has that broad appeal. So that's definitely something that they're going to have to do, because I think that President Trump has done a lot to damage their party.
Keisha, your take?
I totally concur with those thoughts. And we also have to remember the 2016 election was an open election in terms there was not an incumbent running. And so there will be no incumbent running again in 2024 for the Republican side. And last time there was 20 plus candidates. So we don't even know who will come and try to get the nomination on the Republican side, but more importantly, who wants to be the president and on the Republican side is enormous. There's so many individuals that have demonstrated in some form or fashion they'd like to be the presidential nominee, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens in the next year or two.
Yeah, well, I want to thank you both for sticking around with me. I know your expertise and insight will be required over the next few hours and days. Thanks again to Keisha Middlemass, Sandy Hudson, Sharon Austin, all joining me, Corey Crowley, a list of names who stepped up when we needed you most. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I just want to recap what we've seen over these last 3 hours before we throw it to Power Play. And you're watching right now as dusk falls on Washington, D.C., and police continue to hold their ground and hold the fort against protesters who showed up earlier today, supporters of Donald Trump, as they breached one of the most iconic American buildings, really throwing the Capitol into chaos after the president urged his supporters to fight against the ceremonial counting of the electoral votes that confirmed President-elect Joe Biden's win. It was shortly after 1 p.m. when hundreds of pro-Trump supporters pushed through barriers that were set up along the perimeter of the Capitol and tried to storm the building. They managed to get through. Congressmen and women and senators were evacuated, and it was a very ugly scene. Of course, our coverage will continue. I'm going to throw it over to my colleague at Power Play, Evan Solomon, who's got the very latest. Thanks for staying with CTV News Channel.
Welcome to a special edition of Power Play. I'm Evan Solomon.
Okay.
The U.S.
The fuck is this guy, man? This guy's like, whoa, let's get the Power Play going here. I don't know, man. It's pretty fucked up. Like, let's hold on. Just give me a second here. We're gonna get some picks for you. Okay, hold on. We're gonna get that over here. There we go. Yeah, dude. Look at this fucking shit. Alright. Where are we at here? Yeah, this is fucked up. Like, let's fucking talk about this, man. Hold on. There we go. Let me get some lemonade to me here. Fucking delicious. Alright. Yeah, so it's kind of like, it seems like it's kind of toned down a little at the moment. But, like, dude, what we got here? We're gonna watch live. Okay, this was a live stream. This was earlier. Oh my god, look at the quality. Look how bad it is. When was this here, anyway? Okay, this was 2 hours ago. Yeah, like, look how many people are in there. Jesus, man. I understand the quality's like piss poor. Well, there we go. It seems like it's updating. Doesn't look HD. Yeah, it's not feeling like it's 1080. Man, like, dude, look how many people are up there. You know? There's a ton of them down here too. Like out on the street and shit, like, you know. Man. Like down on the street, yeah, the more even coming in. Jesus. The other guy on the bike that just going along, he don't even care. He just got in and out. I wonder, they had Joe Biden in there talking, but, oh, here we go. Get the newswoman out here.
To go on national television now to fulfill his oath and defend the Constitution and demand an end to this siege.
This siege, again, and I'll play you this later. He called.
Dude, I thought they had Joe talking longer than that. I brought it back over to this monitor. It's gone. Bunch of bastards, man. Yeah, I was kind of interested to see what Joe Biden was going to really say or talk about there. Like, Jesus, look at that. Oh, my God. Oh, get him. Dude, man, that's what I said. Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus, the pepper spray's out. Fucking hell. Look at this cop in the front, man. Oh, my God. Dude, they took that woman, too. She's gone instantly. Oh, my. Oh, yeah, that guy on the ground's fucking dead, dude. Man, that was, what the fuck? Yeah, man, that, Jesus Christ. Man, like, they were just a bunch of animals, man. Like, more like the United Divided States, like, it's fucking crazy, man. What the fuck? Like, that clip alone of them, like grabbing at each other and, like, the pepper sprays out, or, like, I don't know, and we wouldn't be, like, bear spray, but, like, it's like, man, they ain't fucking around over there. Like, they're serious. Like, hey, right on, bud. Right on. But, okay. I don't know. We get, they're just going to keep playing some more clips on this stream here. We're going to put this on for a little bit. I'm going to just chill out, and we'll hear what they got to say.
Tragic to see this assault on representative democracy unfold in the United States, yes. But let's be candid. Is it surprising? The answer is no. This should not be. The pump has been primed by Donald Trump as late as today, as late as that video he just released, as he continues to repeat these unfounded claims that the election is being stolen. He has stoked this anger, has incited it, and he's even turned on his own vice president, Mike Pence, who just before this Capitol building was stormed, was in the midst of the transition of power. And again, as I said, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has dropped his support of Donald Trump's claims that this is fraudulent, saying this election wasn't even close. 4 years ago, just about, on January 20th, Donald Trump was sworn in, and he talked about American carnage in his inauguration address. As he leaves office in these dying days, and he will leave on January 20th, 2021, this carnage has come to fruition. Where it ends, we don't know. But let's begin our coverage of where it's going right now in Washington, D.C., where CTV News' Annie Bergeron-Oliver is, and CTV News international security expert Jean Meserve joins us. Welcome to both of you. Annie, we are under an hour from the curfew. Can you just give us a sense of what is happening now and what's the status of the security of the Capitol building?
Well, it looks like hours after this started, Evan, that finally the police are starting to get the situation a little bit more under control. If you remember those initial images, even just half an hour ago, you saw rioters packed shoulder to shoulder on the stands of the Capitol building, hanging off the columns, those beautiful columns at the front of the Capitol building. They were inside, breaking their way in. Now it appears that the police, the riot police in full gear, are walking down the steps one row at a time, slowly, peacefully pushing the protesters down as they go, trying to give themselves some room. So now the latest images show that at least the steps and that main area of the Capitol building now are empty and police are covering it. But the area in front of it is still absolutely covered in people who are there and are pledging to remain there for quite some time. The situation inside appears to be a little bit better as well, but we're still seeing lots of video of a massive police presence inside. Now, part of the reason it seems to have gotten a little better is because the National Guard was called in. There were some reports earlier that that wasn't going to happen. That has since changed, so the National Guard is there. The Virginia State Troopers have been called in, as well as Virginia Police and additional D.C. National Guards as well. So there is a much greater police presence within the last hour or so compared to earlier. At the beginning of this, we heard reports that Capitol Police were overwhelmed, that they were calling for backup, saying they needed assistance. And they seem to have gotten that, and hopefully the 6 p.m. curfew will push a lot of these protesters off the grounds. The D.C. mayor said just about 15 minutes ago that that curfew will apply to the grounds of Capitol Hill, which of course is federal land. And she said the protesters will have to leave Capitol Hill by 6 p.m. or they will be forcibly removed, Evan.
Annie, let me just stay with you. Just before the Capitol was stormed, and it's still a shock to use those kind of words, the Electoral College was simply, tallying the total that was going to affirm Joe Biden's victory. At that moment, a number of senators were challenging the count, including Texas senators like Ted Cruz. Now this violence has erupted. This mob has overtaken the Capitol building. What have Republican leaders said now? Who has now spoken out?
Well, a number of Republican leaders have spoken out and said that this violence is not acceptable. And in fact, some of Trump's former aides were even going on Twitter calling him out, saying he needed to do a better job earlier of telling these protesters to go home. Now, some senators, both Democrat and Republican, have said they're vowing to continue with this count as soon as possible. And that is, of course, what a lot of these senators and House of Representatives want to do. They want to get back and into Congress so they can continue with the Electoral College vote and continue certifying it. Some Republicans have even been calling on their colleagues who thought they were going to vote in favor of this objection not to do that, saying that is not what democracy needs right now. Right now, the American public needs to see Republicans, Democrats coming together for democracy, for the people. So that's what some Republicans have been saying, both on Twitter as well as on different networks. Most of them right now are in secure locations. They were removed from the House of Representatives, from the floor, removed from the Senate floor. Those are both now in recesses. When all of this counting can begin again, something that's supposed to be so ceremonial, something people barely bat an eye at, when that can restart, that really depends on what happens tonight, how bad the damage is inside. But most people are saying they want to get back to the floor, they want to continue this process, and they want to move forward, Evan.
All right, Annie, thank you for that. Stay with us for a minute. These are live shots you're looking at on Capitol Hill. So the protesters are still there. Clearly, the numbers are thinning out. And I want to just go to Eugene on this. I should just say that the Canadian ambassador to the United States, Kirsten Hillman, has just released this tweet. We are following the developments on Capitol Hill very closely. All embassy staff are safe and accounted for. We call for calm during this time. Canadians in D.C. should follow the advice of local authorities. Gene, when you saw the storming of Capitol Hill, one of the most secure buildings in the world, what did you think?
Just astounded that they weren't better prepared for this. It has been all over social media for days that Trump supporters were going to march on the Capitol, that they were going to try to bring guns in with them, and that they were looking forward to creating mayhem. There was plenty of time to prepare. The mayor did take some steps. All D.C. police were on the job today. Nobody was on leave. She had pre-activated several hundred D.C. National Guardsmen, although without weapons. But the Capitol Hill police, I'm just astounded that they weren't better prepared. This is a professional police corps that has been tested. There have been breaches before at the Capitol. They went through 9/11 when they thought a plane might be directed at the Capitol. There have been drills and exercises preparing them for all kinds of eventualities, and yet they seem to have been totally unprepared for this protest.
Yeah. Watching the video, first of them storming those very flimsy barricades, they just blew through the first line of defense. Then they got right onto the Senate floor. Literally minutes after Mike Pence was presiding over the joint session to talk about the electoral count, that very chair was sat in by protesters. They penetrated to the very heart. They broke into offices, Gene. What does that tell you about the security situation? And again, these are folks that were listening to Donald Trump minutes earlier at a rally.
It tells you again that they just had not prepared for this. It's simply astounding. And here's another question I have. Why aren't people being arrested? I have seen one photograph on social media of 4 or 5 people on the floor inside the Capitol. Looked to me like perhaps they were the people who had broken the glass and climbed through the windows. But why haven't there been any other arrests? These people are breaking the law. And in other protest situations in Washington, some as recent as last summer when the Black Lives Matter protesters were on the streets of Washington, there was a very harsh law enforcement reaction, but not here.
No, and we have no idea the extent of the damage. We've seen broken windows. We've heard reports of some gunshots. We don't know much more about that. Annie Bergeron-Oliver is still with us. Annie, any other reports as to the extent of the damage here, the extent of the, I mean, there's a number of buildings on Capitol Hill. How many buildings may have been stormed or how deeply they got in? Do we know any more details about that?
Well, we know that the area around Capitol Hill was either evacuated or under lockdown. A lot of those congressional offices were evacuated first. But right now, it appears that the only real building that was stormed was the Capitol building. And if you see some of the images, it appears that the Senate floor has a lot of damage to some of the chairs. There was a lot of equipment that was left behind, personal items, lots of windows that were broken, some things that were stolen. There's one photo of somebody walking out with what appears to be a giant podium. So some damage. What the full extent of it is, that's still unclear. And one thing that we have to remember, too, about